Hello and welcome back to the ESA Cup. Good evening to everyone that is tuning in. We have a couple of matches for you tonight. I'm your host, Chamberlain, and I'm joined by the wonderful Aria. Say hello.
Yeah.
Hello and good evening to you. I hope you're having a good day.
I mean, it could be night. It's nighttime for most people, so...
Well, I mean, I hope you've had a good day then, I suppose. But anyway, what we're going to get started, because there's a couple, the teams might slightly be waiting on us. We're running a wee bit behind schedule, so I'll get into this as quick as possible. We have a couple of games tonight. Vods versus Team Black to start with. They'll be starting just in a few minutes. And then Native versus MVG straight after that. Of course, that will be starting round about 8 o'clock Central Eastern Time, or... round about 9 o'clock Central Eastern Time or 8 o'clock GMT, depending on which time zone you're in. And then, of course, it could run over depending on how long this team goes. They're both in the same group. I believe on the opening week, Boobats had lost. I think it was myself that casted that as well, so that was last week. They lost, so they'll be hoping to get themselves up and running. Team Black, they got a win, and they'll be hoping to keep that going as well. We'll get straight into the map bans. We'll get firing on ahead with us so that we can get everything up to speed. So there they are.
As you can see, we're heading to the beautiful map bank, and statistically, throughout the play groups here, we have not seen bank played once. So this is going to be a completely fresh map for us to cast, as there is no statistics on bank whether it's attacker or defender sided through teams. At least it's not Chalet, Sean. It's not Chalet.
At least it's not Chalet. We've seen that quite a few times. Uncooked was complaining about it yesterday. We didn't get any yesterday, thankfully. But I've had quite a few clubs. I'm quite happy to see something different, to be honest.
Clubhouse is a nice map, though. You have to admit. It gets stale over time, but still, Clubhouse can't go wrong.
Yeah, it's alright. It's decent now. But we'll get to see something nice and different tonight. After that, let's get the bans.
Well, the attacker bans, statistically, what we should see here is probably a Flores, an Osa, maybe a Nook into the mix. That's going to be Habana. That's a big ban, Sham. That means the hatches are going to be a little bit more tricky to get. And honestly, I can see the Cade coming off the board here as well. Seeing as the Habana is taken off, that will probably be a hand-in-hand pick. Next ban, potentially the Osa, as the Osa can be the biggest nuisance of your life. So, would not be surprised if the Osa gets taken away. It's going to be the Jackal, which is a bit of a... it's not your standard ban, I guess. But it means bank, the roamers will be a little more safe. But that will be pretty much it. Defense, I'm expecting to see probably a Nook, maybe a Val, or not a Nook. What am I saying? Solus or a Val taken off here, as we are on defense, not attack.
Yeah.
That'll be the Cade, as pretty much expected. Cade is gone. And last ban will potentially be the Mira, as Amira and Bank go hand in hand, as we both know.
Yeah, they certainly do. I'm not surprised to see the Cade go. I mean, it's a pretty standard ranks bans, to be honest. Habana, Jackal, Cade, and then, of course, whoever we get in just a second.
I mean, the Habana, a little bit of a throw, but an Oryx.
Ooh.
That's got to be a counter ban. That's surely got to be a counter pick to someone.
It must be.
There's no way that's just there's no way that's just an ordinary ban. That's got to be a counter to at least one of the BLK members. Surely.
I don't know. It depends. Of course, I haven't watched too much Bank in terms of... I haven't actually watched too much SI or anything like that, so I've not seen Bank played as much in comp as what I've seen in the other ones, because it is still relatively fresh back in after the rework. I know it's been quite a few seasons, but it's still fresh. So it's not one I've seen too much, to be honest. And
it's a map that it's not a map that a lot of teams favour. Like, you'll have a lot of teams will favour, the maps like Chalet or Clubhouse, and those are the maps. They're staple maps. Even you see a little bit of Theme Park, a little bit of Skyscraper in the mix as well. Bank is just not really in the meta as such for teams, so it's understandable why we don't see them play that often.
Yeah, I mean, they are best of ones at the minute, so that will skew the results quite significantly, because teams won't want to show too many maps. Generally what happens with the best of ones is one map is pretty much set up as the main map for everybody to play throughout best of ones, and they'll just keep playing that repeatedly and just rely on gun skill. And it's usually Oregon, to be honest. But it's quite surprising, because this season it's been Chalet.
I would love to, if someone's in the Twitch chat, to let us know why Chalet has had such a prominent pick rate over the last couple of weeks. As myself and yourself are just back to comp into the casting scene, and now we're just seeing an absolute flurry of Chalet matches, which to us it seems unusually, because Chalet was never one of those top pick maps.
Yeah. I think it just comes down to the fact it's the best of one, and it's a map that you can lean heavily on the gun skill, and it's quite open. This is why it kind of surprises me why Bank hasn't been there, because Bank is kind of the same. It's one of those ones that takes quite a lot of mastery to actually get it to be into like a good map in their map pool. So a lot of teams just kind of give up on it. Really, they just rely on just the gun skill and the standard setups. And that's one of those ones, it's not like your clubhouse, it's a bit more intricate and they actually focus on it. Opening pick though is gonna go towards Lego, and that's Silverdino taken down, actually finds the Solus roaming around on the top floor, able to shut them down and stops those drones from being hunted out, and is still able to get them quite a few drones still left, so there's at least a decent amount. There's 7 actually left on the board, so there's quite a lot left, so the Solus wasn't as impactful as they were hoping. Stoney dropped down towards Tellers, though, feeling the pressure. You can see the player just on the door there, so they're able to rotate out. There's quite a hold, actually, and a focus inside of open area in the middle of the map for the defender side here. Look, Swing comes out. There's Q Morgan, actually, pops up the staircase and finds Lego sleeping on the staircase and is able to bring it back into a 4 versus 4 situation. Now, Q Morgan's just going to hop back downstairs, just managed to get himself a cheeky wee kill off that wee Swing, and is now dropped in towards that elevator area. Ninja and Cheesecake now have control of open area. The hatches have been dropped. It's just the one hatch that is opened. The other hatches actually still remained closed, which Southern now will be so kind as to open up for us so that we can view the rest of that site. Has to use the Gun 6 there just to clear that Kiba barrier there, just to make sure that they have that angle in towards the main site there. As Philip is in red still, holding in there with a mute. It's usually a smoke that plays in here, but a mute can suffice if they have the C4 in hand, which Philip does have in the back pocket. Timmy's just came in to support from Garage as well, and the 3 members stacked up inside of Server as well now begin their execute. That's Cake, Ninja and Tatters, who have these angles on lock as they are now beginning this execution in towards site, though. Almost threads it through there, Ninja, into the head of the Jaeger of Timmy on the other side of that angle, and one tapped. Ninja's going to love it there. That's going to be a brilliant clip from him. The nade in hand now cooked perfectly to throw in towards red, but the C4 doubled up. Philip sends it straight into the mix there, and that will be the diffuser cold on the floor, down for his trouble, though. Sutter drops the hatch and the diffuser now will be attempted again. Tatters though's gonna get Philip finished off, but isn't able to get the finish on Stoney, and the diffuser is down on the ground. It's hot, it's cooking, and Stoney has to come across to try and get the coverage onto where the hatch is now being opened up. You can see Stoney is now going to go for the defuse. They'll probably go for the actual push all the way and try and get the whole thing. Tatters actually doesn't know they're going for the defuse, and it's be a potential misplay here, and it is, as they're able to get the defuse over there for pretty much free. So unfortunate there for the attackers, just not able to get into the right position, and that opening round there going towards the defenders of Boobats.
Philip M coming in with a massive C4, and that was definitely what turned that round into the side of Bobat's favour, as it looked like Team Black had it all completely locked down. That diffuser was getting set, Ninja with a beautiful one tap, and then that C4 just swinging right over, found its landing mark, and just cleans out the Team of Black, and it just fell apart from them from there on.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate because it's actually one tiny bit that went wrong there. The only tiny bit that it was is that there wasn't someone covering that swing from Philip. That's it. That's, far back, it's usually that wall that's opened up behind the server, and that's usually what they hold on to get that deep angle in towards red. But there wasn't anyone on that. They instead relied upon that nade that was getting cooked with the Ninja on the knock. They were cooking the nade, and that's what they were hoping was going to be the thing to flush them out of red. And it was cooked pretty well, but not well enough for Philip to actually... He just decided to sponge it completely, goes right through the nade and throws the C4, and they lost a life for it, but the double kill was worth it.
It took down your planter, and I got 2 frags in the process, which is something absolutely huge. It's worth the sacrifice on the mute, and then it was just Morgan, and I'm pretty sure it was Stoney that were left in the 1v2 post-plant situation, and it just Tatters was not able to get onto the hatch in time, and just was not aware of the post-plant defuse, and the round just kind of fell apart for BLK very, very quickly.
Yeah, it was unfortunate because it actually looked like they had a pretty decent plan set in place, and they just weren't able to tidy up those little kinks that appeared in their armor in that one. So I'm hoping that they've ironed them out a little bit, and that they've got an idea now, and they're going to try and get this execute done a little bit better. It's on the top floor though this time. It's going to be slightly different.
Top floor can be a lot more defender heavy, but again, once you open up those elevator walls, it'll take a very long angle into the up to the top of square, and it will be very difficult as a defender to rotate through. But it looks like Lego's going to put a little bit of pressure here though onto the player by elevators, as I don't think either of them are aware of positionings, and the drones are just going to sail through, try and get some of that intel that's needed, and those players are just going to go into the stalemate for the time being. But as I say, that Towers finds the first pick, and that is going to be Timmy falling down. That's going to be your Jaeger, gone very early on in the round. Still a minute 44 though left in play, and that is quite a lot. And as a second kill comes in, that's going to be also finding that shot onto Morgan. That's going to be your mute falling as well, and this is looking incredibly well for the side of BLK. A lot of damage taken though, as there is some returned back onto the Valk, and this also is left in a very precarious situation here, as very low HP. And that is going to be a refrag back onto Ninja. And there, Sam, you can take it back into the sea.
Yeah, he's done well there, as there was quite a lot of action happening. Triple kill for Tars, gets it off the window. Of course, just as we come off the spectate, as he's able to collect that third kill, we'll be hunting for the quad that managed to get some performance in from this window, by the way. Sponged so many of the impacts, used the OSA shields well, a wonderful repel performance, and being able to reduce the enemy all the way down to one player left in sight of the site. And I don't think Stoney's actually aware of the fact they're still on the window. Tars is still there on the same angle with a 1.5 on the PDW, trying to send SMG shots in towards it. The plant is going down though. Tars is on the cover, and surely he's going to get himself a fourth. There you go. The sling comes out from Stoney, and that's 4 kills on the round from the one window from Tars. Unbelievable stuff for the attacking side of Black.
1 HP as well on the OSA. That little bit of a nerf, technical nerf to the OSA, putting her to a 3 speed. But that little bit of health is all Tatters needed to stay alive and find those heads, and that is exactly what he did. And that round went significantly towards Black very, very quickly.
Yeah, great performance off the window there, to be honest. And it's quite surprising. I don't actually personally see quite a lot of PDW played on us. So it's for me, what I've experienced anyway has been the assault rifle a lot more, but it's nice to see the PDW getting a run through and doing well, getting 4 kills off of one window.
It's unusual. That window normally gets pressure down from lobby, but as we saw, I think it was Lego that was actually down in lobby to prevent that pressure from coming onto Tars. And it was just a lot of team play, and we can see a very strong team chemistry coming out from BLK as they were able to hold the angles and make sure that pressure was put onto Tars and just let Tars pop those heads as much as he'd like.
Yeah, it's what Tars does best. They've always done it every single game I've ever seen them play, and they've always been a heavy hitter for any side they've ever played for. And it's one of those ones you just don't peek across it. The thing is, I think Stoney actually forgot that Tars was there. Maybe the call didn't come. There was a couple of kills that looked as almost like, whoa, they're still there? Okay. And yeah, it was like a deer caught in headlights for some of the players that were actually steering down the barrel of what was a pretty accurate Tars.
It just looked like a lack of communication between the side of Bubats in general. As you have that person on the window, so you need to try and take down that person in lobby, take that control. But that just never came up from Bubats. They just let Tars run rampage. But as I say that, it's going to be Philip Van losing his life, and that's going to be the first opening frag into BLK once again. So that's 2 rounds in a row with the opening pick going straight to BLK. And it looks like the team to get their first frag. As we say, that flurry of kills comes through, as Claymore is going to take down Timmy, but as he does that, he finds 1 or 2 of his own onto Souther, and Tatters is going to fall as well. So that's one of your heavy hitters gone and off the board in a 3 versus 3 with 2 minutes left on the clock. Quite a lot of time here to work with, but you're losing your heavy hitter, which is not ideal in this situation.
Yeah, it could be to their detriment, but let's hope that the 3 members that are left alive for Black can start to get themselves in towards this site and at least get the pressure to get them bearing down on towards the 2 players that are stacked up inside the conference together. I'm quite surprised that they're playing on top of each other. And just as I say that, of course, Stoney decides to rotate out. It's like they almost heard me whispering in their ear as they move in towards that front desk area. And Ninja, though, is going to get another 1 tap, and I don't know how he spotted that. He's actually inside sight. He's hopped in a window, I believe, and is going to potentially get himself a second, and finishes that one off as well. And there's going to be a third on the board potentially there, but no, Silverdino is aware of the fact that Ninja will be holding on to that angle, waiting for him to come around the corner, and is not able to land the shots. It will go to Silverdino, who's now in a 1 versus 2 situation. Cheesecake and Lego have it all to do now for the side of Black. Silverdino in a 1 versus 2 inside of Janitor. Has to just play inside there and hopefully they can get themselves a result out of this, because of course you're not expected to win one versus X. It's always nice to get them, but there's just a bonus really in this situation. Two members are staring them down. They're going for the plant. The coverage is there. They know where Silverdino is. The information is now being passed. They both know where they are. They'll be holding on to that angle now. Lego will be waiting for the person to come around the corner, and does shoots the alibi there, just not quite. I don't know if they're actually aware that wasn't a player. Just actually swung around there and shot the alibi right straight in the face, gives away their position as well. And there's a little bit of lag happening in the server as well, so I do apologise if that's translating over towards the stream, but Cheesecake is able to get the final pick for the attacking side of Black.
That was the second opening frag round where BLK got their opening frag, and it looks like the team to get their opening pick is able to convert it into an actual round win. As we saw round number 1, it was decided Bobats got their first opening, then that round was converted straight into their hands, and these past 2 rounds that BLK have won also had BLK getting the first opening frags. So it looks like the conversion rate for a team once they get the opening frag, it looks to be a guaranteed win. It looked a bit choppy there for BLK, granted. There was some very heavy hitter frags came out as Tatters was taken down off the board, which, losing Tatters isn't the best, but BLK, regardless, should go back. Tatters or not, we can still win the round. But we're going to see them straight head back down to the basement, and this time we'll wonder whether BLK are going to deal this person in red, as that C4 was an absolute detriment to the side of BLK last time. So it's definitely something they should not leave unattended or even unrepresented as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was only a slight margin that actually won the round for them. That C4, if that nade goes off an ever so slightly second earlier, then the C4 never comes over and they get the plant off and the round's all but done. They have 4 members to cover it. Or if there's alternatively someone actually covering from deep in server, where Philip currently is playing, if there was some covering that red area, then that would actually result in being able to cover off that plant and make sure no one could come out with the C4. So I'm hoping that they're aware of that. I'm hoping that they've made those changes and that they're actually going to make sure that they have the players in the right positions.
We'd hope though. The team chemistry so far from what we've seen looks absolutely incredible. We're running like a well-oiled machine, 9 times out of 10. But that last round, it just looked like, they were trying to make do with what they had. And have we any can openers and any pocket? We've 2 actually. There's 2 can openers in time, or in Silver's pocket and in Towers' pocket. So that wall should regardless get opened. As they're bringing 4 can openers into that mix, that wall should not stand a chance. Shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, imagine they'll throw some at these hatches. All the hatches are reinforced bar the one inside of vault, which I've just noticed at the top of the screen where Suther is currently there. And I don't think Suther's actually noticed it yet. That is actually free to be opened with no hard breach whatsoever. Tatters has got all the way up to the main stairway and just stalled out a little bit. It was almost like they were waiting for someone to peek. The smoke did kind of tease it a little bit. Stoney did go past. I don't think that they were aware of the fact that Tatters was right above them, and I don't think that was what they were potentially going to go for. Stoney on the blue staircase behind this shield, of course. This is the days of old Pro League, of course, stacking up those ADSs inside of blue stairs, with the shotgun in hand and just playing out the time and trying to waste your life pretty much out here. Sends out the smoke there, but the nade's actually going to destroy that, and now the pressure's well on Stoney there as Lego gets down the staircase, sends out another smoke bay, but it's not going to be enough to stop the imminent death that is going to be coming his way. Stoney's dealt with. Lego now will be feeling hungry, pushing through at the server room, but Ninja's already inside of the site, leading the way, spearheading an attack, trying to land the shots onto the head of the Solus inside of red, but doesn't. 4 versus 2 situation now as Lego finds another triple kill for Lego in the round. He'll be looking for the 4K as he hunts now through the site, but it's Tatters to finish it off. And again, I apologise for the server lag as the attackers of Black are able to take that winning round again on bank.
Again, as I've said, probably the last 2 rounds, again, Black with the opening frag, and it was a straight conversion into a round win. It looked again a little bit choppy as frags were going back and forth, but in the end BLK just kind of proceeded through, kind of stuck to their guns, and were able to find frags that were needed. I don't even think did that wall actually even get open, Sham? I don't think I quite saw that wall.
It did get open very late though, when Ninja and that were already inside the site when they placed it on the wall. So it was open, but it was pretty much irrelevant. They were already inside the site.
Yeah, it was open to no effect. And again, we didn't actually see the wall from deep server opening into looking for red. even though the can openers were on the side of BLK. I don't think, did we see Tatters or Souther use either of their sets of can openers?
One of them
I don't
must
think we
have.
did.
I don't know which one it will be. But one of them must have, because the wall did get opened and they didn't. I think it was the Thermite actually, if I remember rightly. I think it was.
Yeah, it was a Thermite. Thermite opened up the wall from server, but I don't think anyone used the can or a Thermite charge to open up a deep angle into red.
Attacker's objective is to defuse the
Yeah.
bomb.
Could be mistaken, but that is pretty much what I've seen.
Well, we can talk about the analysis all night about how they should have had some coverage on the C4 in the first round, but it doesn't really matter if they're just going to send it right into the site and kill everybody.
Sending into sight and using your gun skills for your advantage. It's got a 10 out of 10 rating. It's done its job, but it's paid its dividends, and it looks to work. But Ninja's already sneaking his way through into the server room, and he could find an easy frag, but that mirror window was right there waiting. As teammate, he's going to lose his life to Tatters. Once again, Amaru is going to find that early engagement, and that's going to be the first opener frag onto the side of BLK once again.
Ninja comfortably inside of server, just going to wait it out, and hopefully someone will come round. You see the head just flash past there of the mirror. They're not aware of the fact that Ninja's here. They've changed the push. They're actually clearing from down through the map, so it's actually to try and catch the defenders out a little bit here. They flipped it around. They're not all going for that hard push through server. They're just going to send the one player that's just going to wait in there and lull them into that false sense of security. As you can see, Philip, Stoney and Morgan all taking the bait. All three of them have rotated over to that other side because they know that, or they suspect that that's where the push is going to come from. However, they're not aware of the fact that Ninja is lying in wait inside the server, and it could come down to where the positioning of Silverdino is, as they're above them inside the square, playing just for anyone that could potentially come around that janitor corner. Still, Ninja plays the patience game. Silverdino makes their move on the top floor, finds Cake, drops down in towards the square area, now into Archives. There's a player on the other side of that wall, though they're not going to be aware of it. It's Tatters that's down there. Ninja, though, has been called into action, has been told, you need to come up here and kill this player immediately. Get your act together, please. We don't want you sitting inside a silver. It's their server, should I say, just as Silverdino is actually able to collect another one, and it's Tatters this time. They've just been completely baited into this here, so Silverdino's managed to play an absolutely wonderful roam game there. It was just lying away on the top floor, collected one, another inside the Archives, baited them all out, and they've actually changed the entire push of Black there. It looked as though Black had the control they needed. They were all in the positions they wanted to be, and that one rogue player out on the roam has been all the difference, as they are able to collect 2 kills, bring it into a 3 versus 3 situation. Oh, everybody's inside the site now. They're all just going to get comfortable, try and play time there. Ninja, though, is going to drop the hatch, though, and finds the mirror sleeping inside of Vault. That's that soft hatch coming down to their detriment again, though, and it's going to be a second kill for Ninja inside of Gold Vault. He's able to find Q Morgan, and he's through towards the red hallway, and it's Souther to close it out onto Philip. We did stay with Ninja, see if he could get 3k, but it's not going to happen. But they are still going to take the round. Black are able to take, yet again, another attack on Bank.
That round almost looked like it was going to be a round for Bobat, as we saw Silver was able just to get that roam game, and it was an absolutely amazing roam game we saw from him, as he was able to find 2 frags. But that play that we actually pointed out near the start of the round about Ninja hiding in the server, trying to get the long angle onto the mirror, we never really actually saw that come out and have an impact on the round. So it looked like, you know, the plan was there, and it looks like Silver was probably the person who did actually, without him knowing, stop Ninja from causing havoc from server side.
They've decided to go back there. It's going to be the 4th time this entire match they've been there. So they've only decided to go to a different site once. They have won this one, so this is the one where they've actually at least shown something. The other sites they've just not been able to do it, and revisiting this site just seems to not be happening. It seems to just be, no matter what they do, really, Black just seem to have a response every single time. It looked as though the defenders had played the game well. Silverdino had put in a shift to get a couple of kills there and wasted time, changed the entire push of the attack, but they just killed them, readjusted, went down, cleared out the site, and it looked like almost like an easy win for Black.
It looked like an easy win, and if Silver had to stay alive even 20 seconds more, Black would not have been able to get that execute off that they did, and it would have been way more difficult for the execute to come out. But then again, Ninja was just hitting his heads, and those, when Ninja's fragging and you have Tatters that's fragging, what can you really do as a defender? And that's quite difficult. But that's going to be a player down. That's going to be Tatters falling very early on in the round. That's going to be an opening frag in the pocket here for the side of Bobats. And Stoney did lose his life, and actually he's going to get refragged out here by Lego, as the drones are going to go down that main stairs. And that's going to be, that's an equal trade. You're losing your Thunderbird, but also losing Tatters as well, who also had 2 can openers in his pocket. So, that's not something to worry about.
Yeah, you also need to focus on the fact that Tatters is currently going 7-3 there, and that'll be a big heavy hitter taken off the board. Philip just holding at the bottom of the staircase, knows that Lego was wanting to go down the staircase, knows that he got a little bit of a bloodlust after killing the one on the top floor and wanted to go straight down the staircase there, shot a couple of bullets into Timmy there before Timmy was able to escape into the safety of the Thunderbirds inside the site and replenish that HP. Philip came into support, and of course, it's just going to hold on to that there and just to say, no, you're not going to get down this staircase without at least receiving some of my buckshot into your face. Sutter, though, brings in the can openers that you mentioned earlier to open up those hatches, and they'll be opened up relatively straightforward. There's not been much focus on the hatches, really, from the defenders. They've not really been too bothered, and even the attackers haven't been able to actually get the most out of these angles that they've opened up. But hopefully they're able to get it this time. Silverdino, though, is actually the one to find Ninja, and that's actually on the other side towards Server, is able to find that pick onto the Ash. Silverdino, though, has been a great player so far for the defending side of Boobats, who is still remaining comfortable inside of red. I love to see the smoke plays in here. This is my preferred operator to see in here. Plenty of the utility that can be used to deny that plant. Sends out one of them now to stop anyone from pushing in there. You can see the long angle. We spoke about it earlier. You can see that angle is now what is being played. It's actually Sutter that's on it all the way back here, but it just comes off for a second. But that was the angle we were talking about earlier that they didn't have covered when they went for the plant. They do seem to want to cover it now, so they have at least made that adjustment. Q Morgans came in to join Silverdino to make sure that they can still further bulk out that utility play. We do have a C4 there able to send across there, so Cheesecake and Sutter need to be wary of that. It is a 3 versus 4 situation, so they only have one player on this middle floor BLK. It's Lego that's on the hatch at the moment, just rotating around. Cake's going to get all the way into sight and goes for the plant. Sutter on the cover, playing that long angle, was able to get the cover and shuts them down. And now it's Q Morgan that's dealt with from the hatch. Sutter, though, is going to go off on the other side to get himself a triple kill on the coverage over Cake, just as we were looking at where Lego was on the hatch. And it's just one member left for Boobats, and it's Lego on the cover. Doesn't seem to matter who we got to spectate. We miss the kill every single time. Every time we go to switch, it just doesn't seem to be the one that's actually going to get the finish on, and they take another attacking round. Pretty convincing stuff from BLK, and hopefully the defense is a little bit better, or attacks a little bit better even for Boobats.
Bank overall, personally, I feel is a very attacker heavy map. Once you get certain, if you play it right, it can be very attacker heavy, as long as you're getting those long angles, as we spoke about, the long angle from back server into red. Also, that's a very important angle. Once you get that open, like we could see, the smoke was put under severe pressure once that angle was being used against them.
Yep.
Those angles are major what you need to bring. So once those have been brought, I reckon this map is very attacker heavy. So this should be where the side of Boobats can put an extra few rounds on the board, potentially with a comeback session, as they are now 5-1 down. Not ideal for them by any means, but still, it just means the bigger comeback story is about to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a situation where if you guys can do it, then we can do it. That's hopefully with the way they're approaching this, and they're not approaching this with the negativity that 5 rounds down, and or 4 rounds down even, and it could be a struggle for them. They've just seen a great attack performance. Attack is where the difference is made, though. Most teams can set up anything, sit in sight and camp it out a little bit. There is opportunity for people to win defenses a lot easier than it was with attack. Attack needs a lot of that coordination and a lot more effort. So I'm hoping that we can see something from them on it, though.
Hopefully we get to see something come out here from the side of Boobats, as they have swap sides. The next 2 rounds, as I've always said before, you will remember me saying this, these next 2 rounds are the most important here for Boobats. If they can try get a conversion on these next 2 rounds, the map can slowly drift into their favour. As we saw, it's only, all they have to do is take it 1 round at a time. There's no need to think, oh, we're 5-1 down, there's 4 rounds we need to win. As we say that, is that going to be a trade coming out, actually?
Yep.
That was a trade coming out, and that's going to be your player falling. I was shocked when I was going to take down Severino, and that's just not ideal. As we mentioned, the comeback does not look likely, as that's going to be Tatters finding one as well onto Philip. It's not looking great, Jam. It's not looking amazing.
No, it doesn't look too good for them right now. Their attacks fell apart here. It's all over the place at the minute. There's Q Morgan on the drone at the minute. Timmy's inside the open area. There's still a player above that needs to be dealt with. Do apologise for the spectating there as well. There's been some server issues, so struggling to get the spectating thing. It's me that's doing the spectating, by the way, so if there's anything that is going wrong, it's my fault. I'm the one to blame. And there is still a smoke of cake sitting on this main stairway waiting. It's the same as what Philip did the last time, just waiting at this staircase, knows that someone's going to have to swing down, and that's exactly what happens. Straight into the buckshot, dealt with, easy peasy, one shot, straight to the chest, that'll be you, dead to the rights. Q Morgan, though, on the coverage is trying to at least hold a longer angle as the players rotate around into the kitchen, and they're just raining down now. The shotgun coming through, the echo drone there, the impact, it was all just a bit too much to deal with for the Thermite, and they go to match point in favour of black.
That round just fell apart almost in a slow motion effect for the side of vods. It was just, you know, you got this, we had the solid trade very early on in the round, and then after that it was just pick after pick after pick with no refrags essentially for the side of vods. It looks like we're seeing a lot of solo play actually come out from the side of vods as well. They're all trying to be the solo warriors, you know, who's going to make the impact frags, and leaving themselves open to getting flanks. And there's just no one there to pitch the refrags, which, you know, refrags are half of the game. If you don't have someone pitching a refrag, your numbers are going to just keep drastically dropping. It's not an ideal situation for the side of vods to be in, but hopefully we can see them kind of pair up a little bit better, maybe even, you know, stack up completely. But that's just not looking likely at the moment.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they get something. I'm hoping they can at least get a couple of wee consolations and at least make themselves. I've liked the way Silverdino's played. I've liked that they've been able to get a couple of good action phases from themselves. And I'm hoping, though, that like Q Morgan can try and step up and get themselves at least a positive looking round and try and hang in there a little bit and at least give themselves a boost for going into next week if they are going to fall to this team of Team Black.
And actually, one thing I forgot to mention, as I am the analyst here, the side of vods would actually have had to win this match to take the 3 points, and would have to beat BLK by at least 4 rounds for them to actually, in the group, be ahead of BLK. That is the way that this game would have had to go if vods wanted to finish slightly above BLK. For BLK, if they win this, they move into the third standing. As of now, I'm not too sure if the next few games from the other teams will hinder that even slightly, but that is where the positioning of this game looks to go if, you know, either BLK or vods does win.
Yeah, some early avenues of attack here from the west side. They're all on the repels. You actually seen Philip there making a bit of a year one mistake and forgetting that window isn't actually open anymore. It's now closed and you can't actually use that to find the lanes of sights onto the banana balcony, as Lego is the one that rotates in towards the front desk to support his teammate Tatters, who was feeling a little bit of pressure playing on that counter-rocket spot at the top of the elevator staircase. Now it's going to be opened up. They are sending in the fracture devices, and I like the coordination here. It's something we've not really seen from vods throughout the entire match. We haven't seen too much. There was that round of brilliance that came out from Silverdino that was pretty well done. Another impact nade is going to come down, but the wall will still be opened up, so the Wamai of Tatters will now have to rotate out of there, or at least move in towards the elevator area, and still prone there. Want to try and get an angle on towards that rappel, and I think it's Philip that's on the reverse of that fight and could potentially lose their life if they're not paying attention to the fact that there's still someone on that angle. But Philip's going to find Ninja before that happens, and he's able to get himself a headshot and get the opening pick up and running for vods, and it's a bar that's going to stop the kill here, and it's actually Philip to come out on top somehow. Tatter swings out and gets quite a bit of damage on Philip, but it's Philip that comes out on top with a double on the round, and this looks like vods could be activated, but no! The double from Lego goes massive at the top of the banana staircase, and a triple as well, potentially. Get that gun reloaded to get the finish, and he eventually does. There's another one came in. They've all just tunnel visioned up the same place. Unfortunate for them. The red pings are coming out, and Lego is surely going to get himself a 4K. It's a quad. He'll be wanting an ace. He's going for that. It's an ace for Lego. He shuts it down, and he takes the win straight out from underneath of vods, and Team Black goes 7-1 after the ace of Lego.
What a shot. What shots we saw hit there. 2 absolutely beautiful shots we saw played from the rappel from that was Philip. Brain fog there for a second, but then Lego coming in with the ace just to shut down the side of Bobats and just show them not today, Buckaroo. And that was all she wrote for that story in a 7-1 victory in favour of BLK.
Yeah, an absolutely wonderful ending there. Couldn't hope for anything better, to be honest. Like, I looked as though Bubats had a shoot, at least a lifeline. They were 5-3, they had the man advantage. It looked like they were starting to get up and running, fill up with a double, but they just got a little bit too excited. They stacked up together on the elevator door, and somehow they're able to just, Lego's able to just cross all the way from, I think he came from elevator. He may even still have been in front desk the entire time. That's where he was pretty much located. And I think he just popped out and then it was like, whoa, eyes lit up. There we go. There's 4 of you there. I'm just going to take everyone. Bing, bang, bosh. There we go. Even got time for the reload to finish off the ESA. And then, of course, the calls will be coming out from everywhere. They'll all be saying, the last one's on the rappel, the last one's on the rappel. And straight round there, even though they're stunned, they're going to get the final pick. And Team Black looked so convincing there in that 7-1 victory. They look like they're going to be a heavy hitter in this group at least. And based off the coordination I've seen on the attack, they look like they could go pretty far in the tournament, I think.
Honestly, BLK, the team chemistry is there. It's something we've mentioned before. Chemistry is a major part of a team. If the chemistry is not there, a team won't go far.
Yeah.
You could have, 5 of the biggest heavy hitters across the whole of comp, but unless the chemistry is between them, they just will not go that far. But BLK has that chemistry, and they've got those heavy hitters that they need. Tatters had an absolutely amazing game, and then we saw Lego absolutely go nuclear at the very last round. Everything is there for BLK. It's just whether they can keep up this momentum, or whether it's only, the way teams can last in best of ones, and then when we move to best of threes, things can slowly fall away.
Yep.
Whether with stamina, being able to keep up that momentum. So once the BO3s come in, that's when we'll really see the real test come out here for BLK.
Yeah, certainly will. The S3s do change things a lot. And like we stated at the start, the reason we start to see the same maps coming through is because a lot of teams do rely on the gun skill and their coordination on these setups. You will have seen there wasn't too much in terms of the actual specific setups coming out, at least on the defense. They were a lot more fluid. That's not what you really see in a best of 3, and especially in playoffs, because they want to try and rely more on the gun skill, because if that can get them through these one maps, then that means that they don't have to show any strats, they don't have to show any lineups, they don't have to display any of that kind of strategy, if you will, throughout it. They can just purely gun through teams, and that is what most teams try to do. You'll notice that the teams, like for instance what Boobats have just done, they had a lot more in terms of the setup, or a lot more they changed things. They had ideas. You've seen them playing off of the C4. They had a lot of utility play. They had an idea that they had to show a bit more than what Team Black did, because Team Black were able to just go through them every single time and win those ones, and that is unfortunately sometimes the way it works in best of ones. And like I say, when we get to the playoffs, it will be different. Just
got a little bit to add there. With this win, and now the round difference, because that was a 7-1, I'm pretty sure, I think Max can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure BLK have just moved up to the second in their group. So they're in the group second at the moment, after 2 matches played, 2 wins, and if I am correct, I'm pretty sure there's that's a 7-2 and a 7-1 win they've both had for both those matches. So they are sitting very comfortable round count now in second place.
Yep. But don't go anywhere for anybody tonight, because that's not going to be, even though we're chatting for a wee while, even though it might seem like we're closing out, we're not. We've still got another game to go. So there's still going to be another one to come out after this. And I believe, I'm just going to very quickly check who it is. It's Native versus MVG. They'll be starting off in about 15 minutes time. They'll be getting us going with the other games in this group. Now, in terms of the way that's looking for the groups, you've got Native currently are in third place. They've already won 1 game. And MVG as well. I believe that they lost. I'm just going to have a wee look, because I think they might have changed their name. Yes, they lost last week, yeah. So Molotov Gang, I believe that's their full name. As they were the ones they lost last week. They're in 6th place just now. So they want to get themselves up and running. They've not got any points yet. Native will want to get themselves set into this group and start to pull away from the rest of the pack. But we'll see. That'll be in about 15 minutes time. So everybody go, have a toilet break, have a rest, get a cup of tea, whatever you want to do. We'll be back here in 15 minutes time. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you shortly. and welcome back to the ESA Cup. This is match number 2. We're starting off pretty quickly. We're getting right into the map bans because we have teams waiting to go. It's MVG versus Native. I know some of the names will be a bit confusing when you see it in just a moment, but we'll go through the map bans just now. I think Ari will take us through that.
Yep. So as we see, Villa is going to be banned out. We're going to see Skyscraper gone. We're going to see Bank gone. We're going to see Theme Park gone. Chalet, thankfully, is gone as well. Border, Cafe, and Oregon all taken out, which is going to leave us with a beautiful map, Clubhouse. Your favourite map to cast, Sham, seeing as you do it so often.
Yeah, this is my 4th time this weekend, but it's okay. It's okay. We'll keep going. We'll keep it going. Should be all right. Should be okay.
It is perfect. Clubhouse is a beautiful map. I do have actually some statistics here quickly for the map Clubhouse while we're waiting on the first operator to be taken off the board. If I can find them, because I have lost it, I think. No, I have found it. So, Clubhouse, statistically, we've seen 32 rounds played. 17 of those have been attacker wins, and 15 have been defender wins. So, statistically, this map is a very attacker heavy-sided map. It's, 53 to 46%, which is, you can kind of make do. And some teams can make that work in their favour on defence. We'll just have to wait and see. Thatcher ban coming out though first is nothing to be surprised about, as Thatcher is banned quite often in this league. I'd expect to see an Osa, maybe a Flores. But again, we're going to see that Jackal ban.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to know why teams are starting with that Jackal ban, because it's very much a ranked ban. It's not a... it's not your typical ban. Defence, we should see probably a Cade, maybe a Mira, even potentially the Solus, because Solus we have seen being absolutely an impactful operator on this map, especially.
Ooh.
So, Azami taken out. That is a nice ban to see. Azami taken off the board means that Garage is going to be a ton more difficult to control. So that's going to be definitely interesting to see how the side of Native are going to be able to deal with Azami taken off the board, as that can be a main strength for some teams to hold that catwalk. So that's going to be definitely an interesting one to see, Sham.
Yeah.
How do you think that's going to play out, seeing the Azami taken off the board? Seeing as we don't see her too often.
Yeah, it's nice to see like an actual specific ban, because other than that, most of the other ones are pretty standard. Like they're not. There's nothing jumping out to me. There's nothing really excites me about them. Thatcher ban standard, Jackal ranked, Cade standard for Clubhouse, but Azami don't see that banned often. So it's nice to see something different.
It's not the most common bans, so it's going to be definitely interesting to see how the side Native, and then once MVG swap, how they can adapt to not having that Azami on the board, because we both know Azami on this map, absolutely huge, especially for holding down in basement as well. Holding onto AK, so much easier to hold AK once you have the Azami. With her gone off the board, it's going to be a tough one. Second will be a very difficult matchup.
Yeah, and we're going, obviously, like you say, basement, we're going to the bottom floor for the first site on Clubhouse. Not surprised to see that coming out. Sometimes it's CC, it depends, really. They flip between them, what teams prefer, really. The wheeler go to the top or the bottom, usually. Sometimes you get the rogue pick on gym and bedroom, but usually it's the bottom floor. And the Mira coming alongside as well, which don't get that to see too often on this one, because it is a strong ban.
The Mirror is going to be interesting to see on basement here, because the Mirror typically on basement, you don't see that often. Mirror is mainly just for, your top floor, your gym defenses. So it'll be interesting to see how a Mirror can be used here to defend the basement, because I know typically I don't see a Mirror too often. Not too sure about you yourself, but I rarely see this Mirror in play.
Yeah, not on the top, not on the bottom floor as much as what we usually see. Peter takes some early damage there, just pushing in towards Garage, not expecting there to be a player on the other side of that. Mac, though, is the one to shut Prism down, who was actually rotating out of Garage there. They actually see the body just dropping down in towards Secret. Pretty well done there from Peter, combining together with Mac just to get themselves that frag onto Prism as they were rotating back out. They took the early engagement with Peter, took quite a bit of HP off of them, but they are pretty safe for the time being. Ollie, those going to get the second on the board. That's onto Erkin. Where is that located? Just outside. I think it's actually found the player on the top floor. That was, I think, the Thunderbird that was roaming around. So that's both the roamers dealt with, and now it's Reluct, Rook, and Rise. A lot of R's in the lobby today, which is not great for a Scottish person such as me.
Yeah, you want to have a very difficult one with this one, Sham.
Yeah, certainly are. Ollie, though, is inside of toilets, takes a little bit of damage, just just a smidge, not too much to be of concern. Reluct though, getting excited, not exactly playing up to their name, definitely not reluctant to get up there into the faces of the attackers. 4 versus 3 now as Prism though collects what's essentially a free kill onto Jinky as they're able to collect the damage onto them using the Capcan trap. Ollie doing quite a bit of the reconstructive work here, using that sledgehammer nade in hand now. Some of these smoke babes are going to come out, and just to prevent them pushing down that main staircase, Ollie though sends in the nade though. It doesn't do much though, as there's no one playing behind that Mira window at the moment. They're now rotated back in towards that Mira window. You see Mira behind there on the other side wall. Peter though's going to find Ruck, and now it's Reluct and Rise in a 1 versus 4, just as we switch to Ruck's point of view. He's taken straight out of the board. Reluct even, and Rise now is also going to be dealt with courtesy of Mac, and that is the attackers taking a pretty convincing round from the basement defense.
That just shows the stats we brought up at the start of this match, with Clubhouse being a pretty attacker-heavy map. That just shows.
Yeah.
Like, that was... The roamers were picked off one by one, clearing it up into a 5v3. And then a lot of damage was kind of transferred onto the attackers, but it just didn't really result in any frags whatsoever, and it just left a 4v1 in the end. I think it dropped down to a 3v1 at one point, but then it was Blair Rise just taken out off the board very, very quickly.
Yep. It pretty much was just down to the roam game. The roam game was great. The pinch was there. Ollie actually got isolated the 1v1 onto Erkin on the top floor. So that was an engagement that could have went either way, really. But the pinch was great onto the other side. It was Prism that was shut down and the Capcam on the roam. So it was nice play in terms of the drones coming through, the intel being fed back to the entries, and being able to get that map control early on. He got himself comfortable, done quite a lot of the work onto the vertical, and it was almost an easy round because they ticked those boxes, and that's the way Clubhouse works. You just tick the boxes and you win the round.
Once those boxes get ticked, you know, that's the main thing. Like, once you take off the roam game, once the roam game is gone, you're free to get that vertical control. And that vertical control can be such a huge thing, as we saw the smoke rotate down from the bottom main stairs to rotate into long. He was taking an awful lot of damage from that vertical game, as the floor just got open directly above him during the rotate. And that just shows how strong a roam game, and, you know, clearing out that roam game and getting that vertical control can be.
Yeah, they're getting this nice and early on. They're getting the roam kind of countered, but there isn't actually one this time. They've not decided to go for anything. They're going for the full clear still, but there's no one outside for native. They're just going to lie and wait inside of the site. They've changed things up. They've seen how well they clear the map, and they just don't want anything to do with it. They're just going to go, nope, you know, I'm going to sit inside the site. I'll wait for you guys to come to us, just because we know that you're effective with those drones, effective with that information, and we know that you'll shut us down if we do try to roam. Instead, they're not going to. The hammer's actually in hand here for Ollie, though. He actually potentially gets off a little bit lucky there. It's Erkin who swings up to find Peter, and he's actually left the game just after that. I don't know what's happened there, but we'll catch up with that in a moment. Ollie's still going ahead with all of that reconstructive work there, just bringing in the hammer, smashing it to pieces, making sure these angles are opened up and that they can now begin to descend from above. And it is Ruck that will be feeling the pressure in a moment, as they are just inside of Arsenal, below that hatch, waiting there for any of these angles to open up, just for an opportunity to take the head off of someone. We do have Caesar, quite a lot of soft destruction here. Ollie as well is open up inside of kitchen, and I think that they're still sitting underneath that hatch. Ruck though is still there, still has a job to do, which is the impact, and is actually not going to use it because he knows that it's only 2 Habana pellets, so it's not worth sending it up just yet. Just hesitant to send it. They want to make sure that they get the impacts off. Does send them up eventually, and will not be able to stop the hatch being opened up. It has been dispatched, and they will have that open for them available to get in towards the kitchen hatch there. Ollie though is able to come out on top towards Ruck. The P90 not able to land any shots, but not paying attention to the fact that the hatch is open. Triple kill for Ollie. Prism just gives him a freebie. Where's the call to give them the information that there is an open glaring hole above that Arsenal room? 3 versus 2 though. We'll stick with Ollie to see if he's able to try and come through and get himself what could be an ace on the round, as Reluct is able to find himself one of what was about to say a consolation prize, but brings it to a 2 versus 2 inside of Church. And now it's not looking so good for MVG, who looked so comfortable there in the 4 versus 2 situation, and now it's a 2 versus 2, and it's Ollie that's dealt with there. Reluct on the triple kill, looking for the 4th, and he does it. That's the defenders out from underneath. They're able to take it. Native take the basement defense so convincingly at the end with that 4K.
It just looked like MVG, they work off a structured base, right? I actually want to see a tactical timeout here pulled as well. That's in favour of set a native as well. But as I was saying, MVG look like they're running a very structured, we'll go for the room clear, then we'll go for our, vertical plays, then hatches. And it's just they wasted so much time unnecessarily on doing the room clear that coming down to that last execute, players were kind of getting a little bit panicked. And then they'd lose the player count. And then it just all fell apart very, very quickly for the side of MVG. And Native were able to just kind of sweep in out from under them and pull that rug out between their feet.
Yeah, it was a great 4K. These are the minuscule parts that dictate how well a game's gonna go. When you're down and you're out and you're looking like you're gonna lose a round, and someone just pulls it back from the brink. Somehow the 4K with the Vector in what was a pretty open position. That wall was well open. They had absolutely no right to be in that position, and they got the kills, they landed all the shots, it was clinical, and they were able to get themselves what should have been a round going towards MVG.
It's just MVG look again. I'll mention the structure play again. MVG look like they want to follow the same thing.
Yep.
It's that the players, we have to go room clear, then hatches, vertical play, all that business, and it just looks like they left themselves with so little time for something unnecessarily. They panicked and it just worked out to dividends, and the side of Native collected their prize at the end of the day.
Yeah, we had something like that. Me and Uncooked were casting Clubhouse yesterday, and it was Palakarki that were having the same thing. They were doing basically what MVG were doing. They had a plan in sight. They were trying to tick those boxes and fill out the forms to go through the, we need to do the droning, we need to open this angle, we need to get the soft destruction here. And basically every single time they did that, Vivid were on the reverse to shut it down. They weren't expecting somebody to be on that angle. They were just not prepared for the fact that there would be some aggression with it, and that's what MVG need to be careful of. It doesn't matter how much you plan for all the possibilities, it doesn't matter what your plan is. You see, like right now, they're stacking up with the Maverick and the OSA. It doesn't matter what happens though, because all it needs is someone with a decent amount of gun skill to come out and ruin the party. And that seems like we're about to have a party starting there. Bandit is just squirming to get away from that, but the imminent death was there, and they're able to not get off that bandit trick and just lose their life in the process. The opening pick goes towards MVG on their attack.
Again, another opening pick going straight into the hands of MVG. Whether this round they can convert that into a round win, or whether the pressure will get to them, and we'll have to see a flank here coming up from Prism. Could very easily find a member, and can he find one? Lands some damage, finds the shot, and that's going to be one taken down. We frag back, find a second though. That's going to be a double kill around here for Prism as he gets himself back into sight, and he's able to squirm his way back to those corners, get that HP back up, and then we're left in a 3 versus 3 situation.
Just caught that on the
spectate. A minute 40 on the clock.
I just caught that on the spectate there. I seen him just weeding his way up the staircase there. I didn't think anyone was paying attention, and that's exactly what happened inside of Logistics. Prism just hops in there, collects himself the free double, and back into sight to replenish the HP. Easy peasy, laxadaisy, that's that. And it's a 3 versus 3 situation. It is a pretty big impact to have getting the double kill, but overall the Manka is still looking, even. It's still even. At the end of the day, it's still a 3 versus 3 situation with a minute on the clock. The attackers have now recovered that diffuser there, and it's Prism that's not going to get himself the triple here. 2 versus 2 as Mac is able to find Prism, and Rise with the immediate refrag onto Mac has the long angle, the 1.5 through all the way to Logistics in that breach there. So if the buck does go through it, and that's exactly what happens, beautiful angle held out there for Rise. The 1.5 just paying dividends to get that shot into Caesar, who was just not able to get any chance at all towards that long angle that was being held against them though. But Ollie is going to hop straight through that breach now, and it's not aware of the fact there's someone on their right and now on their left. Which way did they look? They don't actually know how to get themselves out of this scenario. They haven't somehow been able to get into CC there. Sees ahead and downs one. It's somehow potentially going to be in Ollie's favour here, but Erkin has to make a move. The diffuser's going down. They don't actually know the bait is coming through, and Ollie's going to be fancying it now. The push is going to have to come. 5 seconds on the clock. The pistol in hand, and Ollie of MVG takes it for the attack. Again, a hero play comes through, this time on the attackers. The double kill clutch for Ollie for MVG's attack.
Such a situation that Ollie should just not have won. That 1vx should not have been in Ollie's position. But it just little mistakes, and find those little cracks in the armour on the side of Native. And the side of Ollie, especially there, just exploited those little cracks he was able to find in the armour, and just poke his way through and get that round win somehow in that dire of a situation. No ammo left in his AR, and just a pistol in hand. Granted, PMM is a brilliant pistol,
yep,
but it's definitely not something you want to be taking on a person with a 416 with.
I'm getting a sense that this is definitely a clip-for-clip type of game. That's a couple already. Prism got himself a double. The big double there from Ollie. The 4K the round before. This is definitely a big moment type of game. They're just going to seem like they're going to go back and forward, which I hope is what happens. I hope we get some overtime, because the last couple of nights we've had a few one-sided games. We've just came off the back of 7-1, so I'm hoping that this goes all the way. Hoping we get some excitement.
5 seconds to insertion.
Just get some hype built in the chat as well. You know, just get this game going. Let's get this hype built up here for this game. As you know, this is definitely probably going to be one of our highlight games.
Yeah.
Especially for tonight as a 7-1. You know, 7-1s are great to see, but also a game that goes back and forth with no distinctive winner. That's always going to be the best option to watch.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. Here's Prism being a little bit cheeky again. We've seen the play last time, the double kill. It seems to be that is what their role is. Just, you know, go out and see if you can play some cheeky games. That's what it is. You know, see if you can get lucky, go and do whatever. You know, hold a wee angle here, move around the map there, just to see if they can get lucky. This time they're not going to get anything on that kind of spawn peak, if you will. They're actually just going to come and join their teammate inside a lounge for the moment. Now, the C4 has been placed on the default area, so it is available for them to utilise if they do decide to go in for the push. That was placed down there just with the bandit of Erkin who put that down, so that it will be available for them to deny that plant should they get in towards the site. They haven't been able to get too far close yet, as they are now towards logistics. That's what the work is that they're trying to do at the moment. You can hear the buck shots going through just to try and open up some angles for them. Peter actually knows that there's someone sniffing around that side. It was actually the pulse that they brought alongside. Reluct is the one that has that in hand and is around that main stairs area and has actually managed to rotate all the way through towards the lounge and get himself back in his sight. Sisa now takes quite a bit of damage though, up through a vertical hole. Presumably, well, I say vertical hole, but I think it was actually Prism who was able to get it through the logistics wall. Prism again plays in these kind of, it's almost rat-like positions, hanging out a doorway, not quite on an angle, just waiting for someone to make a mistake here. Rise though finds Jinky in the opening pick through the window, actually is able to collect the Maverick outside before they can make any real progress into the site here. Ollie though is going to get Rise and it's an immediate refrag as Reluct is able to be, sorry, I do apologise, Mac though is able to find one out to Prism as Mac has now found himself a double as well, and it's now a 1 versus 3 situation for Reluct, and it's one of those ones where we might as well stay with the clutch because it seems as though everybody wants to be doing it. The plant's not actually covered here, could potentially go for another clutch here. Reluct is able to get one onto Sisa. Does he know where the other players are? Surely the call's going to come out and surely they'll be able to hear that they're inside the site. They don't actually know where the diffuser is and who's going to go for it. Knows where one player is, that's the information fed. They do exactly know where the thermite is. Come through the door, but the wall bang is there for Mac to collect the 4K on the ref for MVG.
Almost a clutch there coming out from the side of Native. Again, this game is going to probably be one of the closest games we're going to see for a very large time, Sham, as this is just a tooth and nail game. You're sitting on the edge of your seat watching these rounds unfold, and there's just no distinctive winner because you can never write a round off. Because we saw the round where it was Ollie left in that 1v2. It looks like Native have the positions they need, and Ollie just comes out and pulls a 1v2 out of nowhere where it shouldn't have happened, and then MVG take the round. This game is definitely going to be one of those games that we're never actually going to be able to decide who's going to win unless there's a clear, distinctive lead, but I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, they're at 3-1 now, so even though it's felt close, it isn't actually as close on the scoreline at the minute. Of course, it can always change on a dime like that. A couple of decisions that go a different way, a couple of executions that potentially go a different way, a couple of 1v1s, and suddenly it's back into a scenario where it's 3 each going into the other half. So we'll see what they have in store. We're going back down to basement. We're going to try this again and see what happens.
You know, basement is a very strong site in general for teams, and we saw, I think it was Relic that had the 1v, or that took the 4K, that round there where we saw MVGs basically collapse under their own pressure. Hopefully we can see MVG as there's a bit of a roam game, so that roam clear will be coming out hopefully from MVG to try and clear out this player, which is going to be the Goyo. But unless MVG, you know, they have to try and clear out this Goyo, it looks like they're actually getting them into a pinch zone here, as those drones are going to be flying up. As C4 is going to swing. Is it going to find his mark? It is not going to find anything. That's just going to be there on catwalk trying to find some engagement here onto the Goyo, but he should be falling back just about now. No, and that's going to be Peter not falling, and that's going to be the Goyo getting refragged out almost instantly as GK's just on the tail end of Peter. And that's going to be the Goyo losing his life. In a 4v4, 2 minutes left on the clock, and that is pretty much ranking, or the roam game taken down, I should say.
Yeah, really well done there for the attack. They sent the drone in. They knew a player was going to be on the top floor. They sent the drone in. They did lose a life, but they did play off of each other. It's nice attack when they do that. It's a nice kind of play and very good cohesion there for the attackers to play off of each other, make sure they have the refrag availability next to them. They were just waiting for someone to come out for the swing, and they lost their life, but there was someone immediately there ready to capitalise on it. Now, it's a bit of a stalemate now, of course, 4 versus 4. This tends to happen when there's early engagements. They'll basically just stop, everybody freezes, but no one is aware of the fact that Rise is frozen solid inside the secret, waiting for Jinky to come round the corner, and is going to bring it to a 3 versus 5 situation, or 4 should I say, as now they're able to get in towards Arsenal, takes the free kill and goes back home into sight. Now it's looking like the attackers could, or the defenders even, could potentially get themselves around back towards this attacker's side here. Ollie moving down the staircase, just doing a little bit of drone work that for the other side of his team as well. Mac's the one that's leading the charge down that main staircase, has a diffuser in her hand, so perhaps not the one you want to send down there. It does come back up there. Knows that there's an angle to be played here where the Mira was the last time. It was Reluctant was in here the last time, got themselves that 4K inside a church. They do have that job again, but Ollie takes a lot of damage through the reverse angle, and it's Prism that's shut down. Mac though finds another one and rises through in towards the utility room inside the blue, joined by Erkin on the hatch. There's a player on that hatch though, and I'm not sure they're aware of the fact that there is someone so close. They're just waiting for someone to make the mistake and not actually check below the hatch, but surely the headphones of Caesar will pick that up and they'll know that there is someone below, and the shotgun is raining down from below, but somehow the dancing feet of Erkin is able to get himself out there alive, only on about 20 HP, but somehow is able to get himself a kill from it all the way through Arsenal without dying, and Erkin's in a 1 versus 2. If this comes all the way through for them, they've got 15 seconds on the clock and they could do it. It's a 1 versus 1 for Erkin, who shuts down Ollie. Are they aware of the fact the other player's in blue? And no! Caesar is able to get the final pick for MVG, and the attackers continue to get these rounds on the board. They take another attack on Clubhouse.
Well, again, another extremely close round as Erkin almost came in that 1v2. Sham, this game is going to give me heart problems. I cannot deal with this. Yeah. This is such a close game. Honestly, this, you know, MVG are up 4-1 at the moment, but Native, you still can't rule them out. Yes, they're down 3 rounds, but the clutch potential has been there for them. Like, that's 2-1vx we've seen them left in, and almost collected. It was just about collected. Yeah. I think it all came down to 1 or 2 kills at most in the end. But that was just, you know, such a close one. And it could have really gone either way, and most of these rounds have been rounds where it could have gone either way. There's no, you know, it's all down on a 1vx. Yep. Not, so definitely a game, but this game was definitely going to get a lot closer. I wouldn't rule out Native.
Yeah, the thing is that this is now playing into the mental game now. This is where Native really are going to have to test themselves. They shouldn't be looking at this as we're 4-1 down. They should be looking at this as we should be actually 3 each at the moment. We should be even more rounds than that, because they've had so much opportunity to get them, and it's just tiny margins that's been stripped away from them. So they should, hopefully they can get that mental resolve in there. Hopefully they can hold out and tidy up these tiny things and maybe even finish off a couple of 1v1s here and there, a couple of extra clutches, and maybe they'll bring it back in. I'm hoping they can hold on long enough to at least get themselves into this a bit more.
Definitely, I think all Native has to do is tighten up that armor a little bit and stop letting MVG find those little cracks to exploit them on. Because that's all that's really holding the Native back now. They're getting into situations where they can find their friends. Oh, we saw the Jaeger sitting in the secret.
Oh, mistake.
They'll just lurk there without them knowing. It's breach getting open now, and it just looks like they're doing the same as last time, abandoning that also on the main breach, and just going for a complete rotate around. This could be dire for the side of MVG if this does not get executed absolutely perfectly.
Yep, I said mistake there, but I don't know if it is, because Prism's inside a construction using the bandit charges, and I thought initially when I seen that getting opened up that was what's happening there. Ollie gets a freebie onto Rock, who just runs outside to melee the shield and isn't aware of the fact that Ollie is just sitting above waiting for someone to make some stupid mistake like that, and Prism is able to get himself a bite back onto the scoreboard here as he's able to find Caesar. So it's a 4 versus 4 situation. Pretty much it should be a 5 versus 4 because Rock's made a mistake there, but Mac though is on the hunt and he's been having a heater so far on the ace. He's able to get someone from the window. It's Rise that falls to that one, but there is the highlight on the other side. You can see the outline on the left hand side of your screen of Prism, who will be hungry for more kills. Ollie though is going to find himself another one. This time it's Reluct that's taken down, and Ollie himself is also going to be immediately refragged courtesy of Prism, who's on a heater as well. Potentially get himself another one if there's no one looking. Triple kill for Prism, who'll be on the hunt for the ace. It's a 2 versus 2 situation, and surely this is going to be the one for Native. Surely they're going to get this done. Another clutch situation though for them. Hopefully it can go their way. Jinky though finds a pick to bring it to a 2 versus 1. Peter and Jinky doubling up together over on the other side of construction. Prism's going to lie in wait, hungry for the ace. He'll be waiting here for the information to be fed. Surely someone's going to help him out on the comms to give him that info that there's someone in that construction, and hopefully it is both of the players that they know about. It's just still holding to the top of red, droned out now. The players will now begin to make their move. They'll seize ahead, but not enough to do anything with it. Another swing pops out, another shoulder is teased, and Prism again through towards CCTV takes quite a bit of damage through the wall. Not aware of the fact they've actually pushed in. Surely the sound cue's there for the defuse, but the swing comes through from Jinky, and it's Prism put into the dirt. MVG take another attacking round. A clutch opportunity there for Prism, not coming out on top this time for them, and unfortunate for Native, they are staring down the barrel of a 7-1 defeat if they don't get their finger out on this attack.
Again, as we mentioned in the stats before, this map is an attacker favoured map, but the rounds that we've seen don't typically they haven't been typically shown that. As you know, it's coming down into 1vx's completely. I think every round has come down to a very close 1vx. That last round wasn't as close as the side of Native would have liked, because every other round, it's damage has been done onto the side of MVG, or vice versa. That round, that didn't exactly come to straights, but this is where the side of Native are really going to have to get the finger out and take the lead out of the boots and get going, get this done.
Yeah, it will honestly be a heartbreaking defeat for them. It might not be something on the scoreline that you look at and you go, oh, they've shown up, they've done a good job. It might not be that when you look at it initially. 7-1, you think, oh wow, what's the team? What's happened? They've not played well, but they have. They've played well. MVG has always been down to 2v2s and 2v3s and stuff like that. It's never felt like MVG were just running through the entire round. It's never felt like they were comfortable. There's maybe been 1 or 2 rounds like that, but it's definitely just been a close game, and I think the Native will honestly be upset at this if this is the way it goes.
Honestly, even if the side Native do lose this match, they have a lot to be proud of.
Yep.
They have absolutely shown themselves out in an absolutely great light this match. They're definitely not weak whatsoever. There's rounds that they've just gotten unlucky on. This scoreline does not show this matchup how this matchup has gone. The scoreline is a very unfair representation of this matchup as we have seen it.
Yep, but it's not over yet. We're on the defense here for the side of where attackers. MVG, they're now moving into the defense. Bottom floor basement is where they have selected for it to happen. It's a lot slower attack than what we've seen from MVG. They do take a lot more time. You can see they're not really in towards the site until now. They're just now starting to get there. You do have the Monty on side in the hands of Ruck as well, moving down the central staircase, and now we'll be beginning this vertical play. They haven't brought as much as what MVG were completely and utterly dedicated to that vertical play, and they wanted to bring in the buck and the sledge. This time they've decided not to. They're not wanting to do anything like that. Native are instead going to opt to bring the Ayana and just try and frag these things out. The Ayana, the Ash, Erkin though is going to be the one that gets the first pick. That's onto Sisa through the vertical holes, and is able to get himself what shouldn't be happening really from these holes in terms of that angle, because you should be paying attention to the fact that that's the pressure's coming from there. These holes are opened up, the hatch is now opened up, the push comes from the other side as well, and it's Mac that just flips around and puts a little bit of damage onto Prism, but Jinky's the one that gets the final kill, and a couple of players are heading down the dirt tunnel. Mac's aware of it though. If anybody is going to put a stop to this, it will be him, as he's holding on to that dirt doorway. Knows there's someone coming down. The Monty is the one that enters first. There's going to be someone straight in behind though, and the shield is dropped to try and get a little bit of damage put onto Mac, but nothing is done. It's actually the Monty that receives some to their tootsies, as Rise is now dealt with on the other side from a C4 of Ollie, but running into sight is Reluct. He's able to dodge every bullet, and Mac is somehow not able to land anything onto them, and eventually gets the pistol in hand, and Mac again with a double, and the defenders are able to take us on the 6-1 for MVG.
I think the momentum and the steam has kind of just slightly run out from under the side of Native.
Yep.
They're not looking as hot in that attack as they were looking as on their defense, and it's unfortunate to say. I think this game is all she wrote at the moment, unless we see after a major comeback here from the side of Native. This is all she wrote. It looks.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate for them as well. Like I say, it's fine margins. They can look at this VOD, you can dissect this VOD, what's went wrong here and there, but at the end of the day, it just came down to some ones, some 1v1s here and there, because I haven't felt that anyone's really overwhelmed each other. I haven't seen like a 2-on-1, a 3-on-1 scenario all that much. Every single one is pretty much been a 1v1, and it's all just been the fine margins of who's just going to come out better on the day, and it's looking like MVG are going to be the ones. They're going to be feeling confident, because they'll be thinking, you know, we're 6-1 up, wow, we're doing really well. But it's not, it's like closer than what the scoreline suggests, and we can harp on about it all night, but fortunately Native, they need to start thinking about getting this correct and done to actually get some scoreline on the board.
I think Native really needs to give themselves a shake, knock that lead out of the boots, and just get down and done and get in this game. Because, like, as we were saying, their defenses, when they were on defense, you know, they were always really close rounds. But that last round just looks like MVG just kind of ran away with them. They didn't really put any resistance onto MVG whatsoever. So hopefully this round here, as you can see the main breach about to get opened, and hopefully the side of Native can put a little bit more pressure onto MVG, which, you know, is something we'd like to see, but honestly, it's not looking best.
Yeah, and just as you mentioned, the main breach over there towards CC has been opened up, and look who's out on the hunt. It's Ollie on his 14 kills. He'll be on the hunt for 20 kills if it does go all the way. If they were to see every single round, he could potentially get that, but I think that he'll be looking to just sit this down and shut it up and close the door on Native, who are now pretty much in and settled inside of the construction and CC area, or well, CC and cash. They're not as far as construction, still all he's teasing it. He's gone back and forward. It is eventually decided that he's not going to go and take that gunfight. And again, I do apologise for the latency. The servers are playing up a little bit tonight, so there is a little bit of lag coming out here. 5 versus 4 now, though, as Caesar's able to get the opening pick onto Rise of Native, and that is at the 1.5 of Frost coming through, and it will potentially get a double there. No, Reluct is able to get across that and just escapes with their life narrowly. 20 HP, wants to go get the hunt, they'll get all the way out and will shut it down, but is there anyone there for the reflag? Just is able to get into the door and or in the window even and not lose their life though, but Prism's on the reverse angle to shut down Seesaw. It's a 4 versus 2 situation now though, as Ollie's able to find the Prism and be looking for himself the 16th kill on the match, so he knows there's a player behind, but he's not able to land the shots yet. The melee in hand, the C4's there as well. Whose C4 is it? Is Ollie able to get the pistol kill? He is, and MVG take them up. They steamroll Native 7-1 on the scoreline. We thought it was a bit closer than that, but they'll be feeling confident, happy with all of the points on this match this evening, and that is all she wrote for MVG, who are your winners tonight versus Native.
Definitely feel a 7-1 scoreline doesn't exactly show how well Native did play this matchup. But overall, and after all, a 7-1 is how many rounds MVG walked away with, and Native just weren't able to. She wrote for the game 7-1 for MVG. It's not the most fair scoreline, granted, but MVG just were able to win out those ones when they needed to, and that's it's quite unfortunate, granted, but it is what it is. Hopefully,
Yeah.
Native can walk away proud and take away from this matchup. And, this VOD is definitely going to be ideal for them to break down where they went wrong and what happened. But that's definitely going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the better games I've casted in terms of being a one-sided scoreline. 7-1 again. It doesn't really tell the tale of how close it actually was. Of course, MVG were stellar. Ollie having an absolutely wonderful game. Probably put himself up for Player of the Week, to be honest, with 16 kills across the entire map. Wonderfully done. I just want to point that out as well. Mac, on the other side as well, got hit into the double digits. 11 kills, I think he finished on for that final kind of scoreline, and just it was a great game. It was a really great game. The tensions were high throughout the entire time, and I kind of feel that once they got to the kind of 5-1 mark, that's where it started to slip for Native. They did have that one more clutch opportunity, and I think losing that 2v2 in that 6th round is what changed it and is what really hurt them, and they just couldn't go on after that, and it was just unfortunate for them. But great game nonetheless. That's the 2 games done for this evening, so we're finished for this week. I will be back again tomorrow. I can't remember if you'll be back with me, but we'll find out tomorrow.
Potentially I might be back tomorrow. I will have to talk to Max and see if I am on tomorrow.
We'll have a
or
look.
if I'm not.
But that's
we
it.
will see.
That's
You
it done.
might be here.
That's pretty much it. Sorted. Tonight we've seen Team Black take it versus Boobats, and we've seen MVG take it versus Native as well. So that closes out week 2 of ESA Cup, but we're still full steam ahead. There is 7 weeks of the groups to go. Well, in total, there's 5 weeks still left to go, so there's only one more week where it'll overlap with SI, and then we can hopefully have everybody back from those streams, and then we can all enjoy the final playoffs as well in a couple of months' time. But that's it from us tonight. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you guys in the next one. Bye.